Hey guys, it's me, your pal Day 9. I am going to try to just quickly hit Mythic. We're about to get there, and of course I'm going to be doing the Kroxa Grinder deck, which is so fun. Ah, it's so good. Nice shirt, says Asmodai. Thanks, it is a nice shirt. I sell it for money. If you ever want to sell out, buy one of these shirts. Although the arm sleeve is rolled up a little bit because it made its way to the dryer instead of to the hanger. Whoopsie damn doopsies. I might make some changes to this triple Rankle. I think double Rankle's good, but triple Rankle is a pain in my ankle right now. I often find the Rankle is not really helping me. Is this Hoagland's list? This list initially was one cribbed from Jeff Hoagland's stream, and I've been making small changes to it over time. I think the notable shifts was the addition of Rankles and Angrath's Rampage were the ones that I really like. But triple Rankle, I'm just not feeling it. You know what? This card is really fun, so we're just gonna put in one of those. Well, why not? Why not? Angrath's Rampage right now is really nice. Really nice. It gets Stream Trawlers, it gets Paradise Druids, it gets artifacts so you can kill the teamer. Terracons, I thought you took out Ember because you felt it wasn't helping the deck. That's absolutely correct. We'll certainly be changing it after this one best of 3, but it tickled me. It tickled me a lot. The careful consideration of, I like this card. Yeah, I think that's one of the most underrated methods of evaluation ever. Oh my god, Psychic Muffin, a happy Tuesday to you too. With the tier 1 5-sub gifties. Thanks, man. Crazy Claw says, if you're running red and don't have Embercleave, you're doing something wrong. I appreciate the judgmental tone in there. I hate people that are different from me in deck lists. That said, it does kind of suck in this deck. Weirdly, it does kind of suck in this deck because we're not really aggro decks looking to punch through for final damage through the assistance of an Embercleave after we've built a board that's stalled out. The best one? Rather, it's a deck that is much more mid-range in nature. Alright, what do we hate the most? Probably this lady. She sucks. All this land out here, so that way we can force the discard of some value stuff with our good old pal Kroxa. Good old buddy K. By the way, Elspeth Conquers Death does not hit Kroxa, and my opponents have messed this up so many times. This is a pretty easy Elspeth Conquers Death on the Phoenix. There's nothing really significant to bring back, so I think it's fine. Righteous Brew, good to see you, man. Righteous Brew, you're a little new around here. You've been here like about 2 weeks right now, I think. If I recall correctly. We'll say when I saw you present the DK30 projects a week and a half ago, it inspired me to start my own. I hope to keep going until you start the DK30 stuff again, so now I can look back on the progress and smile. Hell fucking yeah. See you later, various alligators. What's this one, huh? What's this one, huh? What's this one, huh? What's this one, huh? You'd love to see it. So this is probably a Planeswalker. We have the Bedevil to be able to deal with it. We're going to be able to beat the Bedevil out of it. We continue to deal thousands of points of damage with the Mire Triton. Feels nice. Feels nice. I am so excited for Ori and the Will-o'-the-Wisps tomorrow. I am so excited. Oh my god. I'm going to try to beat it in the next 3 days. Trying super hard. We know it was a Planeswalker. We know it. There's a lot of damage. A lot of damage. How about the Gauntlet, though? So close. Oh, God. 2 members of our dear community. Satan. And Cross have been helping us write some stuff up. Turcon says, I think I remember you talking about doing a week-long game playthrough during Drop Frames a while back. Wasn't sure if you ever would. I did it a couple times. Just been hunting for a good game to do it with. The Gauntlet's going to be good. We're actually unsure of how many people will actually lead to a good game size. We're going to start a little small. The Gauntlet will happen many times. Matty Inc. Many, many times. Send this one back. Send this one back. Oh, damn it. How do we want to do this? I think I do it like this. And attack this one here and this one here. Guarantees Teferi dies. Shidonu is really trying hard to make sure that this Uro can be casted. So absolutely not in a million years are we going to let that happen. X Flippy says, kill it, day 9. I don't even stress about the coronavirus outbreak, but you're Sean frickin' Plot, and you're going to get through it just like you've reassured us that we'll get through our shit. Get there. Hey, thanks, X Flippy. It is really weird. As someone who has a substantial amount of their income tied to live event work, there's a lot of event cancellations that have happened that will continue to happen, and so a lot of work dries up. I mean, I'm gonna be fine, but it's still weird, man. Still freaking weird. Yeah, GDC died. GDC went absolutely busto. Drunk Terran says, I can't believe the freak out over coronavirus. It's insane. People are dumb and panicky. I think that is... Oh, bye, everyone. I would not agree with that evaluation. I think that here's a part that I will comfortably agree with, which is that the risk of death that a lot of people are concerned about is probably quite low for a good chunk of the population. You know, because there's people that get contaminated that are fine. That literally don't even have symptoms. Contaminated, infected, I don't know what the right term for it is, but... great. This is fine. But it does make you very, 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 very sick. And, you know, if we just say, how much does the flu cause in terms of general harm to, like, the economy and workflow and stuff like this? If you have something that is highly contagious, spreading all around everywhere. Alright, great. Spreading around everywhere. Then this becomes a risk for just making people not be able to go to work. Causes sort of trickle effect. So if there's a lot of people that are going to potentially get sick, which could be bad for them, and you say, hey, stay home from work, and productivity goes down, then all of a sudden it just kind of has these rippling type effects. Well, let's cut Embercleave as always. Bonecrushers don't seem particularly good against this list. Noxious Grasp seems very nice. Ashiok is obviously going to be excellent here. I think I might have too much removal. What do we think about Lily? I think Duress is probably better. This feels like if there are boards that stall out, Liliana is very good at snapping through boards that stall out, but... Bedevil feels nice here. It does, but I also have double Noxious Grasp. So I don't think I need quite so many if I'm hitting with Duresses, I think. Yeah, Drunk Terrence says, I think there'll be a supply shockwave that is coming. I was more or less talking about people panic buying everything. I had a lady in my office today to buy 6 laptops, so each of her family members has a backup just in case. Well, it's one of these weird, again, like sort of ripple things, where if no one's panicked, there's not an issue. But if 2 people are panicked, then it becomes correct to... Actually, I'm going to shock this in. It becomes correct to start, just in case more people start panicking, get ahead of the panic wave and start buying, you know, and stuff like that. 6 laptops does seem a little weird. 6 laptops reminds me of sections of World War Z where people were trying to offer cash for their families to be lifted out with helicopters. And the guy's like, cash doesn't matter to me anymore, man. The economy's dead. The world is falling apart. Yeehaw. I expect to have an Aether Gust show up sometime in my life. Not an issue.
Longer. Stand by and watch. Don't worry. I got you.
Alright, we have a wee bit of options, but I mean, I think doing this first, I'm gonna have the Mire Triton go into the Teferi. 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess I'm gonna decline this. I'm always looking for things that fill my graveyard over creatures that I can cast from the hand, because I can get multiple dudes into the graveyard. It's also interesting the way that growth rates work, where the encouragement for things like self-quarantining will reduce the growth rate and the expansion rate of people that are getting infected by some small percentage. Same with washing your hands. Will reduce the transfer rate by some small percentage. Alright, let's take a peek first. This getting bounced is incredibly good for us. Dream Trawler, huh? Yeah, I mean, I probably got to get that one out. Probably got to go to the graveyard and get this one out. And now our opponent has a Teferi and a Devout Degree and shit, so I mean, I think we're okay.
I've got it.
Gotta hit this guy. And then I have to play the Mire Triton. Phoenix of Ash is going to be insufficient on this turn because my opponent can instant speed without Decree. But it's amazing. Like for instance, everyone go to Google and do 100,000, which is Sean Plott's hand wavy. Here's how many are infected. Do 100,000 times 1.15 to the 60. So this would represent a general transfer growth rate of 1.15. Like you have 1.15 as many cases tomorrow as you do today. Alright, so let me just beat the Bedevil out of it. So you get a very large number. Now, if you do the same equation, 100,000 times 1.05 to the 60th. Yeah, I definitely want that shit on top. You get something that is substantially smaller. So again, a growth rate of 1.15 down to 1.05. And yes, this is directly lifted from our good friend. Some number of browns, some number of blues. 3 brown, 1 blue. 3 blue, 1 brown. It's so weird. I watch that YouTube channel all the time. And I mean, I cannot at all tell you what number of blues and what number of browns is which one or the other. That is a tricky pickle for me to navigate, man. Beat the Bedevil out of it, huh? Bum, bum, bum. Let's get rid of this. Let's play the big boy. And it's one of those things that's interesting when it comes to exponential growth rate. Yeah, I'd love to take that, actually. Thank you. That sounds fantastic. Aether Gust is one of the cards that can actually backfire against Kroxa in some situations. That is going to hurt us some, but it's not going to hurt us a shitload. I also did what any good media-consuming nerd would do over the weekend and watched Contagion. Movie is awesome. Now Shinodu cannot cast this creature, which is absolutely hilarious to me. I mean, that's a pretty gigantic mistake to fuck up. Swung with the only blue source in the hand. I love this deck so much. Yeah, let's swing with this. This is going to get raised from the dead. We're going to blow it up and swing for 9, 11, 13. It's pretty good. Not quite lethal, but pretty good. This is so awesome. You love to see it. You just love to see it. Are there 2 Nisses in that hand? Alright. Let us do as the pros do and beat the Bedevil out of it, huh? What do you want to do, Shidonu? We're going to swing for like a lot of damage, so. Kroxa's going to have to get blocked. Let's wait a quick moment for this. Lukobus is traveling to Australia via Hong Kong today. Wish me luck. I think Hong Kong is an absolutely beautiful city. I love Hong Kong. Maybe I should move to Hong Kong. Experience the joy of my 400 square foot apartment from which I stream. See you later. Alligator. Put it on top? Yeah, let's put it on top. Alright, we really gotta stop people from just hoarding Kroxas, you know what I mean? If nothing in graveyard, can you still cast Kroxa? No, you need dudes in the graveyard. But that's why Ashiok is amazing. You mill yourself. Fill up your graveyard with resources. So you were an early adopter of Kroxa? Damn right I was. Meltor Foss, this is maybe my claim to fame, as I started playing this deck about 2 weeks ago. And was like, this deck is insanely good against all the ones that are in the meta. Would I love to exile these cards? You know I would. Oh yeah, I can absolutely take that damage. I don't even do damage. No blocks. Could be a Shadow of the Sky. Also could be not a Shadow of the Sky. Love to see that. Love to see that one right there. Let's get a land off the top. You love to see it. So my opponent put that card on the top, huh? So that means what I'm going to do is I'm going to kill this. It's going to go to the grave. And just this turn and this turn alone, I'm going to mill this guy. Off the top was a Shadow of the Sky. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Get rid of the Agonizing Remorse, the Noxious Grasp, the Ashiok, the Noxious Grasp we just cast. And you know what? Let's get rid of Temple Calls the Dead. This is like my favorite card in the meta right now. Kroxa, Titan of Death's Hunger. God, it's so cool. It's so cool, man. What's in the bin? Elspeth Conquers Death, at which point Elspeth Conquers Death is cast. Kroxa is selected, it does nothing, and then Ashiok gets exiled, and Shidonu concedes. Funny interaction between Kroxa and Tamiyo. Actually, like, super hilarious. This says, whenever Kroxa enters the battlefield or attacks, each opponent discards a card. Then each opponent who didn't discard a non-land card this way loses 3 life. If your opponent has Tamiyo out, this says spells and abilities your opponent control can't cause you to discard cards or sacrifice permanents, which means that if Kroxa ever attacks, it guaranteed deals 3 damage to the opponent, because they can't discard any cards from their hand. And because they can't, they lose 3 life. This card sucks here. Oops. It's a very, very anti-synergy. It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. Don't mind me, I'm just eating lunch. I'm sorry. It's very tasty. Meltor says, it's nice to be watching the stream on a day when I don't feel totally horrible for the first time in months. Yeah, I'm so happy to hear that, man. How have you been doing? Because I know, Meltor you've been having a rough go of things for a bit. Frank Ali says, what about Regisaur to fill up the bin some? It's cheaper than Rankle. Yeah, I actually tried Rotting Regisaur because part of me was seeing the benefit of filling my own bin from my hand. You know, like, for instance, if I could place Kroxa directly into the graveyard, sometimes this can accelerate being able to cast on turn 4. Or, excuse me, not accelerate casting on turn 4, that doesn't fucking mean anything. It would increase the probability of being able to hard cast on turn 4, but what I found is that it hurt me way more than it helped me. I still think it's a very reasonable card to consider. It just happened to hurt too much at the time. Elderfoss has spent 3 months of awfulness and they took my gallbladder out and I've been recovering. Not there yet, but actually a little better. Yeah, God. What is a gallbladder? What does a gallbladder do? It is amazing to me how little I know about how all of my organs function. 88 Key Cameron says, I'm the guy from TwitchCon you told to go to his Tango Cafe. I finally got around to it, and yeah, it's legit, man. Fuck yeah, I'm so happy that place is still there. Yeah, Vistango is this Italian restaurant that was right around the corner from where I went to grad school at USC. And they have this farfalle pesto pasta that I ate so much that I got tummy. Big tummy. It holds the bile that the liver produces. I hardly know how any of this stuff works. I know lungs are air, heart is blood, tummy is food. I know kidney is... Doesn't it just, like, filter out bad shit in your blood and whatnot and all that good stuff? And liver is used for jokes related to alcohol. I don't know what the spleen does. I have no idea what the spleen does. I have no idea what the appendix does. Other than give you definitions for your epic fantasy. Spleens exist just to rupture and ruin people's days. Damn. I know the brain is what handles getting angry on Twitter. That's what that part of the body's for. I know your bones are there to help give structure to your electrical... It's to give structure to the electricity that's going through your body. And so that way your blood can stand up straight. Isn't it just kind of weird that you are essentially an electric skeleton? Inside of every person is a skeleton. And that is really funny to me. This is an observation that Britt told me a little bit back. She like, see that person over there? I'm like, yeah, I see him. Britt's like, there's a skeleton inside of that person just sitting there clacking away on social media. Just like, clack, 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 clack. Perfect. Show me what you got. What's worse, your skeleton is always wet. Oh, that's horrible. I'm just a stack of wet bones right now, man. I mean, I know skeletons are associated with horror, but I'm increasingly realizing that, oh my god, fuck. This is so bad, man. Oh, I guess this one. Jesus. Skeletons are like allegedly associated with a horror, but like actually skeletons are just like so funny, dude. Skeletons are just these clackety rickety, silly looking fun stacks. It's great. Blazefire says, but Sean, if your brain contains every conscious and unconscious thought, aren't you inside of a skeleton? Yeah, no, that's the thing, is I don't say I am a body, I say I have a body. Really, my brain is mostly me. Like, the front, like, right here is where me is. Like, right behind the unibrow is where I am. That's where the me that is Sean resides. We are unimaginably fuckaroni to the pepperoni right now, man. This is awful. Alright, to the bin with ye. Yeah, you got, like, here's me, and everything else is stuff that I have. I don't... I'm not... It's not that I am a body, it's that I have a body. Sometimes I feel like I am acne, but I don't. I have acne. And I also have a whole bunch of electrical current going through all the meat that animates my little skelly bones. I am acne. Yeah, it's weird being just a cheerful jumble of bones. Electric meat skeleton. Fly! Yeah, I mean, it's so crazy to think that, like, the Wright brothers were two skeletons that just wanted to go airborne. Martin Luther King's I Have a Dream speech. He's just a skeleton up there, inspiring generations. I mean, there has been a lot accomplished by animated meat skeletons. It's truly incredible. Alright, so I guess I want to bedevil this. Don't Thassa's intervention me, or I will concede, you fuck. Alright. Alright, what do we not need? I don't think some bone crushing is going to be particularly helpful for us. I think Angrath's Rampage is not going to be particularly helpful for us because, I mean, we didn't even really see that many creatures. Duress is great. Pharika's Libation is great. Some little Dream Rondor. I think we remove these buddies and put in these buddies. And I think that we kind of keep it like that. Maybe it's actually better to get the Bedevils out and to put in the Angrath's Rampage as just cheaper removal. We want cheaper removal. This is how we attack. Great. Yeah, Pharika's Libation is kind of the all-star sideboarding card. Is this deck the whole reason Pharika's Libation is in the sideboard? There's a number of enchantment-based decks. Wilderness Reclamation is one. Fires of Invention is the second. Those are the two notable ones. But there's also some kind of funkiness going around with some of the, what are they called? The Dance of the Mance decks. There's also occasionally some decks that have combo enchantment creatures and shit. It can be very strong. Like the black, white, green, I'm going to enchant all my creatures with stuff. You can target the player and force them to sacrifice. Alright, I'm going to try to hurt this opposing collection of bones. Very much so need that. I think I still want to go in this order. Because this is a turn 4 Kroxa, which is like very, very potent. Very poopant. Isn't it weird that over in Wall Street, there's a whole bunch of animated skeletons on the trading floor shaking their bones at each other? Isn't that interesting? Isn't that weird to think about? If we Tymaret on turn 3, we will always skip one of the exile effects. Maybe I fucked up. Yeah, Big Daddy Money Bones. Oh, nice. Let's get rid of one of those. Crack for, I think, a little bit of red mana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Alright. Like when skeletons do astrophysics, my favorite is when a skeleton sits in front of a piano and then just clacks their little fingers. And then that pleases my bones. You know, there's something that I say that I don't know if this sounds crazy, but for me, I feel like it describes a certain type of cold. When you're not just regular cold, your bones are cold. Like, you know how, like, if you step into a house that's air conditioned from a hot summer day and it feels nice, like your skin is cold. But then there's when your bones are cold. Where, like, even if a heater was put on you, it might take a minute because your bones are cold. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes, if I am, say, distracted, like I'm playing a game of Dota, and when it's done, I just realize that I'm actually really cold. Like, my bones are cold. I will get in the shower and wait until my bones are warm. Terracon says, I think it's called frostbite. Yeah, maybe I'm dying. Yeah, maybe I'm actually fucking dying. Fuck. This is so nearly an amazing hand, but we're going to send it back. This hand actually really does suck a lot. This hand sucks a lot. Alright, well that's, that was the game. Happens. I guess we should have kept the 2-lander. And that's how you beat day 9. I'm surprised you're not muting while you eat. I have been. Did I miss it on the last one? Sometimes the button doesn't register correctly. My goal is to mute when I chew. My goal is to mute when I chew. Because it inspires great hatred in those who just don't like hearing that sort of stuff. Alright, we're up against Tidbit. It appears to be a mono-red. Tidbit, look at it. It's a nice little reflective-looking name. Okay, we have some axes, we have some shocks. We have 2 removal spells. Light Up the Sky is going to be the one that gives them the opportunity to draw, because Shock Light Up the Stage is the one. Fuck. What happened? What happened in the last draws, man? Does this deck need maybe a card advantage engine like Theater of Horrors? This deck super needs like 0 card draw. It's incredible. The way to think of the card draw in this deck is the more that I am filling up my graveyard, King of Concession, baby. The more I'm filling up my graveyard, the more opportunities for drawing I'm having. That's why cards like Ashiok that fill the grave, Tymaret that fills the grave, Mire Triton that fills the grave is all the card draw that we need. So we're going to put in the Disfigure, we're going to put in the Red Cat Melees, and probably Bedevil, and that's that. I have essentially never needed card draw with this deck. I have never been out of cards. Because you just keep dumping stuff in. Just keep dumping stuff in. That'll do. Alright, let's get a repeat of last game. Oh, you love to see it. Four is the right amount of mana. Necrozero says, any thoughts on going Grixis and using Enter the God Eternals, milling yourself while killing a thing? I think that there are certain... How do I want to do this? I'm going to exile this. The Phoenixes of Ash are not especially vital to the success of battling against Red. They're probably the worst card against Red, so I'm happy to exile it to help build up a suite of zombies, because remember, we gain life and scry X based upon the amount of zombies we control. Why would you run this? What is happening? Okie dokie. I don't heal. Yeah, there are cards that are just absolute good cards in the colors that might be a reason for you to run the color. Like, for instance, I really like Kroxa. I think Kroxa is a very, very strong card. And that might be a reason for me. That might be a reason for me to consider actually running a Kroxa. Or, excuse me, running black-red. Or Nissa's really good and might be a reason to consider running green. This. But Enter the God Eternals is a card that's, like, fine. It's fine. So, I think that if I were going Grixis, it would be for something like Nicol Bolas. Like, if I wanted access to some really powerful combination of, like, a red and then a black-blue planeswalker, you know, something like this. Oh, that's the worst one. That happens. We've kind of just punted on mana, but it's not really a big deal. We have a winning win rate against mono red with this deck, so I mean I'm not really too torn up about it. Not too torn up about it. I think I needed to shoot the Tibalt when it was at 3 loyalty, just right away. I don't keep track of win rates because, I mean, I don't especially care about a lot of games. So, like, if I'm in the middle, Jarker says, or is it just that it feels like a positive win rate? No, it has a positive win rate. I mean, it's not that hard to just keep track of win rates against matchups in general senses. I mean, when we started playing this, we were at Platinum 4, and we won almost every single match until Diamond 2. So we've had a win rate against almost everything. Hilariously enough, this deck really struggles against people's experimental shit. Temur Adventures feels like the one that's very challenging. It feels like we probably have like a 40-45% win rate. Mono red typically feels pretty easy. When I whiff on mana, and I think we could have arguably shot the Tibalt a bunch earlier. But, yeah, mono red, we just have so much removal. And also, our opponent sideboarded incorrectly against us, which is one of the big benefits that this deck has against a lot of decks, is that they sideboard in. Okay, so we're going to get... Fuck, do we just get this one now? Yeah, I guess we get this one now, and we just let the arrows fill. Yeah, a lot of people sideboarding tons of single target removal against us, which is not super effective. Because, for instance, Tymaret Calls the Dead summons 1 or 2 2/2s. So this is the turn where I think I need to again try to Agonizing Remorse to spot something. Some good Bonecrusher. Ugh. I guess this. Get in there, little buddy. Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. Drawing 2 cards, I assume. Bam, bam. I think Gadwick is such a cool addition to a ton of these decks. That one is a good one to have. Yes. The games against these Temur decks can be like so funny because like like game 1 can be a little obnoxious. Ooh, yeah. How many do we have in here? Okay. Let's play this one first, make a discard and a sack happen. I still don't know what would be a better replacement for Rankle. Rankle feels like totally okay. Like just super mediocre. Like fine. Like a fine card. Oh, dude, I see people talking about the Command & Conquer Remastered Collection. Oh my god, dude. I want to play some Red Alert. I don't know why, but I had forgotten about Red Alert. Like, I think about the original Command & Conquer all the time, but like, OG Red Alert, man, fuck yeah. I think this is better to do now so we can get rid of something that's scary. Okay, that's a good one to kill. Get in there, buddy. Yeah, Hell March from Red Alert was amazing. I remember on television the Red Alert ad played, and it played Hell March, and I thought it was the fucking coolest thing in the universe. Still not enough, yeah. Alright, well, here we go. I'm finally here. The thing that actually tickles me about a lot of those early RTS games is that there's like two different categories of things when it comes to multiplayer games. Well, how do I say this? Okay, let me start with the single player thing. A lot of times in a single player game, you're just trying to embody some sort of specific feeling or some specific idea. Simple example, Batman Arkham Asylum, where you are Batman. Okay, guys, we have to make Arkham Asylum, so let's see, how do we make really sweet combat that feels like you're beating the shit out of thousands of things? How do we put in grappling hooks? How do we have batarangs? How do we have his utility belt? You know, you have all these Batmanish things that are existing, with the explicit goal of trying to make it feel as Batmanly as possible. And if you think about your traditional RTS, like let's actually take Age of Empires, because I think it's a really good embodiment of, you know, specific ideas. Maybe something like this. Like in Age of Empires, you are going to build up an empire. So what are the resources in the game? Like, what resources could be anything. You could just say it's resource A and resource B from like a functional perspective. But it's like stone and gold, and you have farms to get food, and there's deer wandering around the map, and then you can hunt the deer and also collect food. You know, there's like all these different qualities. Each player discards a card, and each player sacrifices a creature. Player loses a life and draws a card. Do it all. And, you know, what are your tech levels in the game? Oh, well, your tech levels are getting to different ages. You know, you can see that there are these concepts that exist in strategy games, which would be like, what's your tech level? What are your resources? What are your units? And when you try to think about embodying and communicating some sort of narrative idea, like you are a civilization growing, all the questions, what's a good way to have a framework for answering these types of questions? And what are the resources? What are the units? What are the tech levels? What are these sort of formal systems like? Great way to answer the questions is to just look right back at how civilizations actually work. And that's it. I think we're about to die to an explosion for 3. Yep. Bang, 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 bang. This matchup does feel tough in the first match. Now, let's go to the entire flip side, because typically in games you have 2 very broad categories. There is the narrative elements and the formal elements. Narrative would be you must progress in ages and collect gold and meat to feed things. Formal elements are like you literally need this much of resource A and this much of resource B to build something, and units are not permitted to be constructed unless their tech level is matched, right? It's like the actual game-based rules around stuff. And the thing that's kind of funny about the early RTS is that nowadays, like, we've had 20 years of things like StarCraft and Dota and League of Legends, Magic, all these like competitive strategy decision-based games. And there's ideas of balance, of like strengths and weaknesses, of like a lot of the formal element issues and considerations that just did not fucking exist in the late 90s when you had, or I guess mid to late 90s when you had like games like Command & Conquer coming out. Because Command & Conquer, there's so many things that are about embodying narrative components. There's Tiberium fields, and Tiberium is falling all across the planet, and it's causing social chaos. And this is what the GDI and the Nod factions in the game sort of represent as 2 different sides of this struggle. And when infantry walk across the Tiberium, they get injured because it turns out Tiberium's poisonous, right? It's embodying the narrative elements, but like the fact that like tanks can just run over infantry and like infantry fucking die when they get to your resources, that you like run out of resources immediately, it's fucking terrible. There's or that you have like power plants and there's an engineer that can just like touch your power plant and the whole game's fucking over. What are we even playing against? We have to get rid of Bonecrusher Giants. We have to get rid of... Okay, so we want these in, these out, this one in, and... Do we want the Noxious Grasps? Yes. We'll take out those, we'll put in these, and then we're good. Dude, it's actually so... Like, yeah, the construction yard. Boing Classic, yeah, Mr. Steele, your construction yard. Do you remember playing Command & Conquer multiplayer and one of your buddies takes your fucking construction yard and then you cannot do anything anymore? Like, you can't do anything. Single player context works fine. Like, there are single player games like Arkham Asylum where it's so easy to have control over, in terms of the actual formal elements of the game, it's so easy to have control over what players, or what encounters can and can't be like. We're going to drop 10 enemies in to fight Batman. Huh, that seemed like too much. We're going to drop 7 enemies in. Alright, seemed good enough. Let's move on. But, like, when you are in a multiplayer setting, oops, if one of the players is Batman and the other player controls, like, the thugs or whatever, you don't really have any control over either faction. You can be like, alright, send in 7 thugs to fight Batman because we think that's a fair fight. And the person controlling the criminals goes, yeah, I don't want a fair fight. I want to, like, only fight when I have, like, a huge advantage. Like, yeah, I'm fucking not doing it. Ghost Stalkers, that's my adjusted audio. I have not touched audio once, Ghost Stalker, because I have updated my NDI. Ain't no lie, baby. NDI. Alright. Kill the Gad Wicked among us. And it is just so freaking funny how many games that I played in the late 90s, especially, that just sucked, man. That just fucking sucked multiplayer. haven't played against this variant of Temur. It's quite strong. Oh, that actually totally blows. I know there's a lot of people that were favoring Thassa's Intervention over the Gadwick, but I think this is like really good. Have I tried Davriel in this deck? I tragically have, and it really feels pretty bad. Ooh, you love to see it. Bam, 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 bam. Or some just terrible... Oh my god, Turok 2?
My dreams dissipate.
Turok motherfucking 2? Do you guys remember the Cerebral Boar? The Cerebral Boar was a thing that you could fire, and it would just chase after your opponent and bore into their head and kill them immediately. So you just get a Cerebral Boar and be like, oh, there's a guy, and you'd hit, and get this, it homed. You didn't even have to aim it. You just hit it, and it would go bzzz. I mean, absolutely maddeningly unfair. Looks like we're dead. Focus Sock says, if anyone in the chat has tried to go back and play GoldenEye 64, it's not actually a good game at all. Aim is impossible. Yeah, where you actually have to, like, hold a trigger down, and then the movement stick turns into the aiming stick, so you have to, like, stop moving and then, like, twist your gun like this. Oh my god, it's so funny. This is a really interesting Reclamation variant. It's very OG. Bomb, bomb, bomb. Blah, blah. The N64 controller is objectively awful, yet people love it. It's such a weird controller. Alright, I'm gonna get the hell out of this game. I think this is a fascinating Temur Reclamation list. Like, I felt helpless in this one. This is incredible. My ladder point, no! I still don't really know what would be a better... replacement for Rankle. If there even is. What are these dual color bad boys? What do we think about Spawn of Mayhem? Stormfist Crusader doesn't really help us that much. We don't really have any issues with card draw and shit. Yeah! Captive Audience! Woo! I actually wonder about main... So we're looking for something that is 4 or less. 4 or less. 4 or less. I wonder if we're just maining the lilies. If I like even did like this. Yeah, what do we think about Carnival Carnage? I actually don't want to change this too much, even though I've not been a big fan of Rankle. Change it a wee bit. Dr. Doomman says, okay, I had to reset to talk about Turok 2. So my favorite memories playing with my friends involved using the stun gun, the Cerebral Boar. Did gloss over how long it took to lock onto the head of your enemies. The problem was solved by using a stun gun and saying, do the Michael Jackson, followed by Cerebral Boar to the dome. God. This design. You know what? I'm hanging on to it. This is a good enough hand. Ashiok's the king. the sideboard is an issue here. I mean, I've been plugging this deck as just being the greatest thing since sliced bread. We've been getting our little teeth kicked in. Is it a mirror? Someone's using my list from 2 weeks ago, huh? I'll just take a shitload of damage. It's fine. I don't even care remotely. You want to bonk me for 2? Not an issue, huh? Not an issue. Dr. Doom says, it's interesting to see how today's standards, very little you could do about not getting stunned and bored sucks greatly, but was incredibly entertaining during its time. Did we not? Do we just not know any better? Was it a different time? Okay, here's my analysis slash argument for a lot of this stuff. There is, when I think about what is it that a person enjoys when they sit down to play a game. Wow, someone really wants to grow up and be me, man, let me tell you. The fact that we have 2 Ashioks is incredible. If we get Carnival Carnaged, I mean, we're going to go to 1, which sucks a bit. But I assume they'll be able to make a comeback from 1. So, what is it that a person likes when they sit down to play a game? Well, I mean, I'm just going to break it into 2 very coarse categories that I'm going to call the beginner and the expert. Right? Obviously, I am excluding a shitload of subtlety here, but let's just say beginner players, like newish players, and then experts. What about intermediate? I don't know. There's something that happens in between. Done. There's my analysis. Or there's my delineating of the lines. Thumbs up. Get rid of that card, young man. I'm telling you, come back from 1 health, no problem. And I feel that when a new player sits down, I shouldn't say I feel, this is a statement that has come from a lot of the research that was done by Mark Rosewater, who's lead designer of Magic the Gathering, that experts who are all interested in cool strategy and who are super interested in, let me just think for a quick moment, Ashiok probably wants some more single target removal. I don't think I want either of these, actually. Keep this one. You got, you know, your expert players that love all the complex strategy and possibility and all this stuff. But a new player doesn't know anything about that. A new player has no idea what is a good Magic card, or what is a bad Magic card, or what is a good deck. what I would like to describe that a beginner player experiences a game almost the way that you experience a toy. You know, like, if you've ever played with magnets and the way that things are pushing around, there's no goal, there's no winning or losing, there's no objectives, it's just a toy. You're just fiddling around with it. And you look at things and make you go, ooh, that's cool, woohoo. I feel like in the era of when people were playing tons of games like, you know, late 90s, early 2000s especially, when multiplayer was not really well understood, games were still focusing on this idea of, like, embodying certain narrative feels, having, like, certain just key satisfying fun. No! Having certain key satisfying fun, core toy-like mechanics to them. And, you know, when I sit down and think of the fun that I had playing Turok, you know what kind of fun I did play? Or I did have? I had, like, a weekend or two of laughing with my brother as we played with our neighbor. And that's about it. It was not deep, rich, interesting fun that kept me hooked and compelled in the way that StarCraft kept me compelled. It simply was not. I don't know exactly why my opponent played in this order, but that is fine. I just really did not have that much sweet, dope, cool, crazy, neat fun. Oops, that was supposed to be black, but it doesn't really matter because we already have a double black. It didn't keep me. But there was also not an expectation for games in that era to keep me for any amount of time in terms of attention. I would just play something for 3 weekends and be like, that was awesome! And then not play it anymore. And then play a different game for 2 or 3 weekends and be like, that was awesome! And move on. And nowadays, when you have something like League of Legends, or StarCraft, or Dota, or Magic, that someone can sit down and play for 5,000 hours, there's an awareness that you have when you're having one of those fun, weekend of laughter type experiences of what those formal element problems are. Like, oh, this game is just clearly not balanced. Oh, I have been incorrectly counted. I just didn't need to play that land. Then I would have been super fine. So, whoopsie doopsie. Who can play at that game? Kiddo. No. No. We would be in a winning position if I didn't, like, miscount the graveyard in the middle of talking. Because now this guy's just going to take a dump on us. Aha! I have Mire Tritons for days. Bam! Bam! In we go. Crunch. What about Cavalier of Night? I'm a bit concerned about the triple black cost of it. I really think that we kind of just threw this game away by playing a single land. I mean, we're getting kindly rewarded, but we are in a far more substantially difficult situation than we need to be in, even remotely. So. That is too funny. Well, we have Liliana, and she's gonna get discarded, so that's fucking sad. Bam. Hey, we would have loved to have you last turn. No attacks. Ooh, what a play. Let's hope that Roborox sacks the wrong one. The game should be dealing damage to me right now. There it is. There's our impending death. So, this one hurts a little bit, because we had an advantageous position. And we threw the agony. Let me take a quick peek at this. You know, here is a small change that I actually think this will help me just a smidge. This deck that reliably climbed up is reliably losing matches. On the day when we were just right around the corner from Mythic. Oh! Oh! Hey, it's pay to win. Annihilate this human being real fast. Alright, that's a good looking hand. Yeah, I think 2 Rankles is maybe the right number. Yeah. Alright, let's put our lunch down here. Oh, dude, I'm very excited. It's Soon Tofu Soup dinner tonight. Oh my god, Korean Soon Tofu Soup is fucking good! Especially this broth. Alright, maybe 3 Angrath Rampage is too much. Yeah, like, there's this extra slot I'm not entirely sure what to do with. Maybe, like, a single... Whoops, I played this post-combat. I am really bad at talking and playing Magic the Gathering today. I'm really bad at it. A single copy of Leyline of the Void in the main. It seems unnecessary, Lassigger. If I wanted to put in more graveyard destruction, I would run an additional copy of Ashiok. So this is an opt. Get in there, guys. I actually think that, like, maybe one less Angrath Rampage and, like, some semi-reasonable creature? Like, what's a creature that makes sense as a one of? That can just be some presence. Like a nice 2-drop creature. Yeah, if I could have Atris in this deck, that would feel really nice. Just the wrong colors. Alex and maybe. Tonebound Lich. Yeah, there's like so many good blue-black ones. What about Robber, maybe? Yeah, maybe. Angrath Rampage seems redundant with Pharika's Libation. How's that? I mean, the difference is that this can get planeswalkers, artifacts, and creatures, and it's sorcery. The other one is enchantments, which is the big reason Pharika's Libation is in there. And also Pharika's Libation can't get Planeswalker. But I do think that 3 of these immediately is feeling like too much. Shardana says, how are things going, Sean? My company just went mandatory work from home for the foreseeable future. Looks like there'll be much more day and night streaming now. I do this, then I do this, then I do this, then I do this, then I do this. Erebos. I'm thinking a 2 or 3 mana creature. A 1 of Dreadhorde Invasion. Oh! Alright, cool, we won. Rankle is the best. I'm so glad that I include Rankle in my list. Boy, that feels better already. Ah! Alright. Where'd my Bedevils go? I found them. Oh, cheaper. Feel pretty good here. Did I really do 61 cards again? Fuck yeah. Maybe main deck 1 Duress, that you have a turn 1 play sometimes. You know, that might actually be the thing. Only enchantment for Ephemia? That's correct. It's not creature and enchantment, and it's easy to get that conflated with Tymaret Calls the Dead, which is exile to make a 2/2, which is an enchantment or a creature, and Ephemia is exile, just an enchantment, to also make the same 2/2. It's so easy to fuck it up. Alright, so this is very nearly a god hand. Keep. Hey. Really like to keep the 1 of Duress. I think that's actually right. Oh my god, we did it. It's a god hand. It's a god hand. Day 9 got the god hand. Bam, 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 bam. Dunking it. Please feel free to counter. I don't really give a damn. You got it, buddy.
Welcome.
This is such an insanely good opening.
You. I.
Dr. Doomman says, I'm super excited for you to play Factorio again. Did I hear correctly that you're going to have a full week of it? It should be in the title of the stream right now. It might be cut off on the front. Alright, let's crack this. Actually, I should have cracked after I milled, because now this decreases the chance that I put land into the bin, because I pulled land out of the deck.
Behold my epilogue of fear.
My epilogue of fear. Ella, hey. Oh, I am a dumb ass. I need to cut the Bonecrusher Giants in this matchup. Or maybe that's what I've been doing wrong. I see the Bonecrushers there, and I'm just like, day 9. Now, what are you doing? Yeah, I'll take that action every day of the week, man. Here's my Magic 3 week. Yeah, maybe, man. Is the Gauntlet 1 p.m.? You know the Gauntlet's at 1 p.m., man. You know it. I don't know how long Ori and the Will of the Wisps is, but I really want to completionism the hell out of that game. So we do this first like this. Bam, 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 bam.
My dreams dissipate like.
Now we open this up. Yep. You triple red this turn. It's me, it's your pal Kroxa. Man, I've had that little tune stuck in my head. I need to win this game, so that way I can go get some coffee. Oh, a biogenic ooze. That's a fun card I forgot about. Take most gamers approximately 12 hours to beat Ori and the Will of the Wisps. That's wonderful. Wonderful news from a wonderful dude. Ghost Dark, I'd like to once again extend the most warm of incredibly public thank yous. just for like constantly helping with this audio bullshit that we've been dealing with. It has been some serious pain in Spain. By the way, in case some of you were wondering where the power of this deck came from, you're seeing it right now, where we just keep replaying again and again and again and again and again and again and again. Yeah, Ghost Stalker is the best, man. Ghost Stalker is just, like, on top of shit. There's a certain quality that Ghost Stalker has that, like, if more human beings had, the world would be a better place. Which is that Ghost Stalker looks at a situation and then identifies, ah, I think that if I did this, it would help improve this situation. And then without any more input, Ghost Stalker just does it. It's so tight. It's so sick. Ghost Stalker's just like, hey, before you go live, just make sure the audio settings you did last time are reverted back and that Cardboard Live's on. And I'm like, oh, yeah. Yeah, that's right. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So if I do this, my opponent goes down to 6. And then if I play this, I can double buff. I did it.